far-right protesters threatened deadly Thursday in Jerusalem in response to the Pride Parade. A far-right group, Lehava, is gearing up for potential violence at tomorrow's Jerusalem Pride Parade, posting many threatening messages in an internal chat group, wishing for the deaths of pro-LGBTQ+ marchers. One group member posted a banner for a counter-protest against the parade, adding, quote, "Deadly Thursday in Jerusalem." The rhetoric was posted in a Telegram group called Jews Don't Stay Silent, belonging to the extremist organization led by veteran far-right activist Bentzi Gopstein, a close political ally of Israel's national security minister and once a candidate in a far-right party with Ben Gvir. Gvir was once at the forefront of the extremist protests against the parade, before gaining responsibility for the police force and the march's security arrangements for this year. He's rejected calls from organizers for Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to sideline him from dealing with the event. How ridiculous is that? The gentleman who is forefront of calling for violence is now in charge of the security issues. Right. And the Jerusalem Pride is one of the largest Middle East pride festivals. On the size, I think the last time I heard it was over 300,000 or 500,000 people. And now this gentleman who is so extreme in his thoughts is now sitting there saying, "Don't worry, I'll take care of you."
You know, when we're commenting on the previous news, I couldn't help but make parallels, you know, of what Jews had to deal with in the Nazi Germany, you know, and when a group is targeted, you know, in our case, it's been the transgender community right now and the LGBT community in the state of Florida, and how they had to leave their country and move all around the world, and they have to be, because they were persecuted and then exterminated. You know, saving the differences. Okay, I'm not gonna, not just, you know, equating the two things, but can help to, you know, make the parallels that we're going through similar situation, and that somebody in Israel, the far right, can support this. You know, they can support this discrimination against the LGBT community within Israel. Don't you consider that you have been going through this you know, for years?
And they may likely be children of survivors as well. They may very, you know, let me just say that Lehava Nagila would be a fabulous name for a super Orthodox drag queen. Second, the good news is that these Haredi homophobes opt out of military service. So these ultra Orthodox morons are not in the Israeli army. So that means they probably don't know their way around deadly weaponry, which makes me wonder, will they just be throwing stale knishes and matzo balls at the Pride Parade marchers? I mean, what are they going to do?
Not to rain on your parade, Greg, but several years ago, I don't remember the exact year now, it was actually a right-wing protester did march into Jerusalem parade and stabbed a young girl to death. She was not queer herself. She was an ally, and he was quickly arrested. And to this day, the right wing still mention him in a favorable light. And the problem with this, that this is all Netanyahu's own doing. He cozy up to the right wing in order to get his term back, in order to escape prosecution of his corruption charges. And so we have an Israeli government that's turning more and more right, and aside from LGBTQ, they also have issues with non-Jewish Israeli citizens and Palestinians. And before I wade into, you know, before I need to don a fire suit for incoming comments, I'm just going to stop here. But I'm just saying that the right-leaning way of Israeli politics is not going to go away anytime soon.
Well, it's not going to go away here either.
No. And, you know, we say that this is one of the largest. I don't know where else. Maybe Tel Aviv has a larger pride. Okay. But, because, I mean, we're certainly, let's just take a minute to say, at least we're having one in this region, because I'm pretty sure there's not one in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, or Yemen, or even Jordan.
Even Istanbul.
Even Istanbul. We recorded on that yesterday, that you know, they're banned in Turkey. But we have to, and we can look at it from afar and see the good, that they're actually having it, and the bad, that it's not, that you've got under threat. But how close are we to that in America?
We're very close.
And that because, I mean, right now we're very lucky in South Florida. We're getting ready to have our Pride Parade in 2 weeks, the Stonewall in Wilton Manors, which is Greater Fort Lauderdale. Miami Beach Pride was last month. We had Hollywood Pride in January. We have a lot of prides. And our sheriffs and our police forces embrace help. Well, yes, they not only march with us, but they embrace help. They talk with Joint Terrorism Task Force, things like that. We're very, very lucky. But in some states, and I'm just tossing these out, I don't know any specific one, but you could be in a deep red state in Topeka, or you could be in rural Colorado, and the sheriff who's charged with your security, everyone's security at all events, might say, you know what, federal government, you know what, Joint Terrorism Task Force, we've got this. Nothing's going to happen. They don't have to actively support terrorists.
They just have to ignore it.
They just have to, they can just ignore it. And it does just as much, if not even more damage. So we need to be vigilant. We need to stay on top of our leaders. Not here, yes, here in South Florida, but that's not really our issue. We have a lot of issues, but that's not it. But we need to stand up for our brothers and sisters in small towns throughout the country to have the prides. Prides go up for a vote. Wilton Manors goes up for a vote. I don't know. I didn't realize that, but it makes sense to get their permit.
Right.
And there was a pride in rural Tennessee that the Republican mayor approved it, broke a tie to approve it, which is the right thing to do, to let people be heard. So it's so close in so many small places. So let's make sure that we support them and don't take our safety here in the blue bubble of South Florida for granted.
We are Queer News Tonight, the world's first and only live daily LGBTQ+ evening news show from Happening Out Television Network. In the model of PBS and NPR, we educate, inform, and entertain by supporting the 10 pillars of the LGBTQ+ community, with more than 100,000 a week watching on Roku, Apple Television, and other channels. To keep the stories going, we accept donations with 100% transparency. Stay updated and live authentically with Queer News Tonight.